The second point, I think, and there are a number of issues that we can look at. We are losing this battle. I mean, I think the AG spoke about this as potentially as a warship. I would like to give the analogy of the Titanic that is heading towards several icebergs at the speed at which we could actually lose the potential for this country ultimately. I don't think we are a leader in this region or in this country. If you look at Rwanda, if you look at Ethiopia, these are two countries on our borders almost that are doing much better than we are doing. So I don't think we are winning this war. I think we are still struggling from the effects and the consequences of an ineffective system and a population that allows us to be mediocre and to be ineffective in the fight against corruption. I would like to raise just 4 points in terms of proposals, because I understand this section is really about looking at what can be done. The first is, and maybe the Auditor General, I think, has the right direction, which is that I think it is important, and I really acknowledge all the people that were on the panel before for the efforts that they're taking. But I think what we need to really think about is how are we preventing corruption from growing under the feet of our public officials and our state officers. And the first area there, I think, is procurement. On November the 23rd last year, the President, I think in this very space, spoke about the need to act decisively on procurement issues. Many of us hoped that that would be followed by a comprehensive review of all procurement that is done in this country, so that we can publicly see who is getting the tenders, who is getting the contracts, and in that way we would be able to pinpoint what is actually happening and move ahead on that. It is very clear from the study that we have done, the Society for International Development, Kellin and various others, that the market price index and the oversight of the Public Procurement Oversight Authority is actually flawed. And we have proven that in the area of medical supplies and equipment, we are currently potentially allowing for a 30 to 300% increase on market prices for the goods, the health equipment, and the services that we are providing. That report was released 5 months ago. It was given to every PS and every CS. And as far as I know, we have not seen any action taken on that issue. That's the first thing. The second thing is, in this room, there are several people who are doing business with government in a context in which we can only claim to be a conflict of interest. We are not seeing the energy that went into the conversation around lifestyle audits being carried forward. What we do need to see is a process by which lifestyle audits are being done of all our state officials, starting with the cabinet, going through to the middle levels, and right through to the entire service, with an understanding that if we're able to triangulate that information with the banking industry, with the Auditor General, with other sources like the KRA, we would potentially see something that is more interesting. I think what we saw with the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission chairperson, Philip Kinisu, is only a tip of again, another iceberg that I think we need to take action on. So I think these two things, I could go on, these two things I think are the first steps towards changing the nature of procurement in our country.
Okay, Irungu, real quick. You mentioned there are people in this room who have a conflict of interest. Do you know which one?
Would you like me to name them?
Please, please. I mean, why not? We're here.
Okay. Unfortunately, I work for the Society for International Development. I've already taken responsibility for levels of corruption. I think there are officers in this room who perhaps would be able to do that work more effectively. But I think the main thrust of my point really is that we should really be thinking about how do we create a sense of integrity in the officers that are there, rather than going after them as vigorously as we have. But really, when we shuffle the government, when we reshuffle the cabinet, why aren't we asking of our cabinet secretaries and our PSs that they immediately institute publicly verifiable lifestyle audits and let that be the conscience on which they serve this nation?
Right, okay. Charles Karich, I'm going to